big day today. They've been moved into the kitchen just recently, this morning, so that I've decided to leave one whelping box in the bedroom and one here so they can share time. They're starting to give Mum a bit of a hard time, so they're going to have their first lamb mince after their milk this morning. They've had a big day, they've been wormed, they've had their nails done, and they've had their weight done. And we'll be politically correct and say there isn't really any fatties, but there's a couple that could perhaps be a bit slower at the feeding trough, but that'll all work itself out once they've got more room to run around, and they're running up and down hills and stuff. They soon tone up. They're whinging because obviously 9 of them can't all get on at once, and poor Agatha. So I won't be too long before I take her out and give them some food. They're also very tired. They've missed their bedtime by about an hour. They're like children. If they get tired, they get grizzly and cranky. And so when you get your puppy, plan what you're going to do, where it's going to sleep, what time it's going to bed, usually in a nice box or a crate. They like to be in a little cave with a nice soft blanket and something warm. You can get snuggle pot warming pads, which are really great. I'll just see if I've got one over here. I don't know if I did or not. Yes. This is what they look like. One's in a cover, one's not. You get them off eBay for about $60. You put them in the microwave for about 5 or 6 minutes, and they will stay warm for about 8 hours in a blanket. So they are great. I have one in East Esky. So the thing with when you get them home, have your plan beforehand so that no one breaks the rules and cracks. As in, oh, the poor baby, he sounds terribly upset, we'll pick him up. And no, if you've decided the puppy goes to bed at, say, 8 o'clock, you've given the puppy food, drink, something to chew, you do not go back because it's crying, or you have then reinforced its first lesson. Cry and mummy comes. So if you do decide to relent and crack, wait until there's a pause and the pup stops crying for a few seconds and then go in. Never go in when they're actually crying, or you will train your puppy to be noisy. Now, I've done their nails this morning, and I used these as babies, but then, and the good old magnifying glasses, and then move up to the normal nail clippers. People have asked me about using Dremels. I use them for showing. They're like a grinder, and you can get them cordless, but the dog does have to get used to the noise, the feel of it, and if you hold it in one spot, they get hot. And the cheap ones I wouldn't even bother with. So, especially with Basset nails, because they are really hard. So, get yourself a pair of good, solid nail clippers that have a big hole in them, and do them every week, because they've done every week here and there's no problem. By the time you get your puppy, it will be used to being laying on a table, but you could lay yours on a sofa because you'll have more control. If the pup's on the sofa and you're kneeling, you will have full control of that puppy while you do each nail, and give a little liver treat for every nail, because now all my dogs go to the grooming table and want to get up there. They actually fight to get on the grooming table, knowing they'll have their nails done or something shocking like their ears cleaned, because they know there's a treat for them involved. So we now have a pack of very tired puppies, grizzling. It was a hard night because Mum's starting to run out of milk, so they're not getting full bellies. That's why we start the lamb mince. And why I start the lamb mince is because a puppy's stomach, the intestines, when they're born, are quite holy so that they can absorb their large antibodies from the mother's colostrum, and those holes are big enough to take those antibodies for about 36 hours. That's why when puppies are born, they must get mother's colostrum in the first 36 hours. Otherwise, they will be short of antibodies. But those holes start shrinking, but they're not completely shrunk until about 6 weeks. So anything you feed the puppy before 6 weeks goes into their bloodstream because the holes are fairly big. So you try to keep to a minimum foods that they will commonly eat later on and that you don't want them to get an allergy to. Like, to me, the worst thing to feed young puppies is cereal, because they are going to come across a lot of wheat and a lot of cereal later on. So what I start in the next week is some lamb mince, because lamb is not something that they will eat a lot of later on, and if they get an allergy to lamb, then that's not a disaster. That's why I don't do beef. Now, I love eggs for my dogs. They get a lot of eggs, but they never get eggs before they're about 8 weeks of age, and then they get quite a few eggs. Like, they get a raw egg in their milk, and they have lovely shiny coats. I think that's all for the minute. So they've given up. Mum's hiding it all underneath, and we'll see how the day goes now that they're out in the sunny part of the world. They're pretty tired. They've all put on nice amounts of weight. Some of them are nearly 2 kilograms now. So we're not talking dainty, although the little girl is quite small compared to the rest of them, but she holds her own. Better go.